Welcome back. Today we're gonna watch for this week why miners risk their lives to get sulfur from an active volcano. Looks pretty
Hundreds
good.
of miners work inside
watch
an
it.
active volcano here in Indonesia,
Injen.
battling toxic fumes all day long.
I feel like I've seen this shit in what's that shit? What's that show called? Wait a second. Let me try to
They're
figure out
mining
show.
sulfur, which locals call devil's gold. Working conditions here are so
Dr. Stone. That's the show. He does this shit in Dr. Stone where he goes inside like the surface of a volcano and like a bunch of sulfuric acid is bubbling and he had to make like a bubble thing. Shit's crazy. Definitely seen this before though.
dangerous, many miners don't live past 50 years old.
Nama saya Mister, saya sebagai penambang belirang di Kawah Injen.
Miners like
Okay.
Mistar carry
Oh,
up to
no,
200
baby.
pounds of sulfur on their backs,
Look at his
up
back.
and down these steep cliffs.
That's gotta hurt. Like there's no way that doesn't hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like his back on swole.
And Mistar's been doing it for 30 years.
Bawa
How
belirang,
old is this man?
mikul,
How you been
itu
doing this for
sudah
30
biasa
years?
di pundaknya, ngapal itu.
The sulfur
Oh
is
my
used in
God.
everything from matches and rubber to cosmetic products. It's even what makes our sugar white.
Nah, ini belirang yang
Yeah, but that's yellow. I'm gonna make her sugar white. What?
bagus, ndak ada pasirnya. Ini yang namanya
It kind of looked like hard honey. Like I would bite that.
natural.
But most of the world's sulfur comes from oil and gas refining, making volcanic mines like this relatively obsolete. Yet these miners are still working, earning about $12 to $17 a day.
12 to 17.
Because in this remote part of Indonesia,
they're only earning 12 to 17 dollars a day. They have to go up and down this mountain to earn. That's it. I could never, bro. No way.
it's one of the better paying jobs.
Walaupun ini keadaan bahaya, itu yaitu dah tadi berani mati, takut lapar.
So why is this
Oh,
form of sulfur
that's
mining
kinda
still
facts, though.
happening? And what makes this such a risky business?
He does not look like he's over 30 though. That's crazy.
Nah, kalau saya bangun Mas itu antara jam 1 atau jam 2.
If he wakes up at 1 or 2 a.m., what time does he go to sleep? So this man is literally working from night to like day. I mean, like, you know, he's just working and sleeping because he has to be tired.
Sarapan dulu itu ndak ada lain Mas. Ya cuma nasi itu Mas.
Oh,
Dengan lauk pauk itu ya
Burn
pakis
leaves.
kata orang sini Mas.
it's unfortunate. That bike is kind of wrong.
Jam segitu Mas, keadaan sekarang itu rawan hujan, rawan longsor di kawahnya.
Landslides. Oh, this job is so dangerous.
This
You
is
know
as
they don't
far
get,
as
like-
Mistar can go on his
You know they don't get like any type of safety benefits from whoever's paying them, the coal mining people. That's wild.
bike. There are no roads to the crater, so he has to walk the rest of the way. It's a 2-mile hike up to the ridge of Injen volcano. He takes only his basket and a crowbar down into the 1,000-foot deep crater.
Kita mohon bisa didampingi lah, dikasihani lah dengan yang jaga di sini.
Here, he faces the volcano's extreme environment. The air can reach over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And he works near one of the world's most toxic volcano lakes.
Turn this into like
Tapi
a
itu asamnya
mukbang.
seperti asam baterai. Itu
That's
memang
an Hillshire.
berbahaya. Nanti kalau kena
That is not
sama
acidic.
misalnya
what?
mulut
Why is he
sama
in there?
gigi dia rontok. Iya kan berbahaya. Dia bisa membunuh juga kalau sudah
He has to
masuk
cover
ke
his mouth.
dalam
I
perut.
mean, he probably knows that.
And there's the smoke.
Bau asap belerang itu sangat menyengat. Bau asam lagi kadang-kadang bau seperti gorengan telur. Tapi
I heard that like the sulfur smells so bad that makes you like want to throw up. I don't know how they're just like working. I mean, I guess part of it you kind of get used to it, but
Kalau masuk dalam
there's no way you can get that
hidung
used to it.
atau mulut itu sesak.
Ini mas, batuk ini mas.
He battles two types of sulfur smoke. The first comes from deep inside the volcano and is channeled through these pipes.
Kalau asap masuk dalam tubuh itu merasakan sesak, nyeri di hulu hati, sesak, nyeri.
While mining company PT Jandi Grimbi owns the license to run the mine, the miners are freelance contractors, so they have to pay for their own gear, and many can't afford gas masks. Instead, they use handkerchiefs or towels dipped in water to keep the sulfur powder from sticking. The second type of smoke is even more dangerous. It comes from the volcanic gases below the acidic lake, and it can be deadly. So if miners see big clouds of thin
So not only are they getting paid like super shit, but the person that's employing them, it's not really giving them anything. That's just wild.
white smoke coming from the lake, they have to evacuate.
Kita harus menyelamatkan diri, harus lari kalau gas keluar.
That's why Mistar needs to get here so early. The winds
has
pick
to be,
up
like,
through the
better
day,
jobs,
blowing
right?
more white smoke towards the miners.
Gotta
Both
be.
types of smoke have lasting health effects.
Untuk penambang di sini ya ada, pasti ada yang sakit. Kadang waktu
Has a
nambang
dope hat.
sakit perut, kadang-kadang tergelincir kakinya, jadi sakit, kadangnya patah, itu ada.
But the smoke from inside the volcano is crucial for sulfur production. This is how it works. When the super hot smoke hits the cooler air outside, it condenses liquid and drips off the pipe.
Merah itu kan waktu net
Like the forbidden honey, you know? Like don't eat it. But it kind of does look like honey though.
tes itu jangan dipegang.
Juicy.
Netes sama kulit aja digosok, itu kulitnya ikut seperti kena api.
As it solidifies
What?
and cools, the sulfur will turn yellow, and miners can begin chipping
This is like the hottest wax. So this is just byproduct.
off blocks. It's the sulfur's two colors that give it the name Devil's Gold. Miners use their bare hands to move these blocks. Although touching solid sulfur frequently can cause rashes and blisters, Mistar says that as long as it's cool and yellow, the sulfur is fine to touch.
Dari bawah dulu disusuk, lalu diangkat. Kalau ndak pecah dari bawah, baru diantam dari atas.
Pre-pandemic, the miners could extract up to 25 tons daily. But since 2020, they've been working in two separate shifts to socially distance. That's lowered the miners' capacity to only 10 tons of sulfur a day.
I'm about to play so much Lost Ark tomorrow. It's gonna be crazy. Like, you guys don't understand.
Once he fills his baskets, Mistar
Sorry, that's what I was looking at. A bunch of Lost Ark stuff keeps popping up.
hoists them up
I almost bought that $100 platinum one. Wild.
on his shoulder to hike
Founders
back.
pack.
But that sulfur is not a light load.
Kalau saya maksimalnya mikul, itu satu pikulan 70 kilo.
That's about 154 pounds. Mistar himself weighs just 132.
Nama punggung ya pasti sakit mas di sini kalau berat.
Some of the younger miners can carry up to 200 pounds in one load.
Kan kadang-kadang di pundaknya itu kan sampai rusak. Ngapal itu rusak. Itu kadang ada tumbuh-tumbuhan yang seperti
You think he has like the strongest shoulder? Like his shoulder after 30 years has to get like mad strong, right? There's no way it's weak. I wonder what these. Should see a doctor.
jerawat itu. Itu penyakitnya kalau orang mikul.
They have to haul it up the steep walls of the crater.
Langsung naik pelan-pelan. Soalnya kalau nanti kerasa kerusuh malah bahaya ke diri sendiri, jatuh.
Oh,
Peleset jatuh.
Some do the treacherous hike in flip-flops.
Kalau saya masih kerja merasa capek dari bawah, itu di batin saya itu mengucapkan Mudah-mudahan cepat sampai di atas, selamat sampai.
What's crazy is like he goes up and he goes up and down the mountain, and he does it like 4 times every single time. I can barely like walk down the street. But I also had COVID. My lung is like pretty messed up right now.
Once he reaches the rim of the crater, Mistar can transfer the sulfur to his trolley and begin the 2 miles back. And he'll do this trip a second time today.
Menimbangan langsung timbang. Nanti berapa dapat per kilonya, selesai itu diturunkan langsung dinaikkan mobil.
PT Jandi Grimby, the mining company, also owns this weighing station and the factory where the sulfur ends up. At the factory, workers boil the sulfur
like poop.
and run it through a series of filters. They have to remove any contaminants, like sand or dirt. Then they pour it out onto the factory floor to cool. The sulfur is loaded into sacks and sent to sugar factories nearby. It's processed into sulfuric acid, the world's most commonly used chemical. It's used in everything from matches, fireworks, and gunpowder, to detergent, paper, and batteries. It's what makes sugar white.
These guys are pretty important, bro. It's like, we need all that stuff for all this stuff, you know? Like, my morning coffee would be ass if I didn't have sugar.
And it's an essential ingredient in rubber products and even winemaking.
Like, if we didn't have this, we would not have tires and wine. So these guys are important.
But 98% of the world's sulfur comes from oil and gas refining. It's a byproduct of refining, and oil companies are required by law to process it safely. What's created is a lot of pure sulfur, a purity that's necessary for making products like...
So, what happens when we run out of oil and shit? Like, do we just run out of this?
fertilizer. Today, the sulfur industry from oil and gas is worth almost $13 billion. And is
$13 billion, and these guys are making $17 a day.
It's expected to keep growing. And it's left natural mines and volcanoes unnecessary, especially since mined sulfur isn't as pure. It can be acidic or contain sand. Yet Injen is one of the only places left in the world where people still mine sulfur this way. So why do they do it, despite the danger? For the mining company, it's easier and cheaper to get sulfur from Injen. For the sulfur miners, the pay is a lot more than other jobs on the island, such as farming.
Misalnya kerja di bangunan, untuk gajian nunggu 1 minggu. Nanti kerja di perkebunan masih nunggu 2 minggu. Tapi kalau kerja di kawah Injen, walaupun kendalanya banyak, berbahaya juga, itu untuk postur ekonomi itu cepat.
The mining company pays on the weight of their loads. They get about 9 cents per kilo. With 2 loads, Mistar can make $17 a day. The mining company did not respond to our request for comment on why the miners are paid so little for what's considered one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. Another possible reason this mine is still open? Tourism.
They taking pictures of the miners?
At night, visitors flock here to see the blue flame from the sulfur gas.
Oh, okay.
During the day, tourists hike up to take in the vistas. Protected with their gas masks, they watch miners work without masks of their own. Some miners are now becoming tour guides or making sulfur souvenirs. The most keep working, as they always have.
50.000, ada 100.000. Ya ada tamu lokal juga, pengunjung lokal. Kadang-kadang dia minta foto-foto langsung dikasih uang. Kan senangnya itu penambang. Tidak pernah susah, walaupun pekerjaan sesulit apapun. Ya sebenarnya kalau tamu-tamu yang lain mancanegara itu pekerjaan jadi penambang, ambil belerang, itu bukan pekerjaan yang dihormati. Malahan dia ngomong kasihan, kenapa ndak kerja yang lain. itu kan sangat berbahaya. Itu untuk tamu-tamu yang mancanegara ngomong begitu.
Do be his job. It do be in fact his job.
Tapi apa boleh buat untuk saya, sudah pekerjaan saya di sini.
Tell that
At the end
cow,
of the
dude.
day, Mistar returns home to eat dinner with his family and rest.
Is that more
Injen
farmers?
looms over them, a symbol of how Mistar provides for his family's lives, while it slowly takes his, a heavy weight to carry on his shoulders.
Oh, that was pretty heartbreaking, but thank you guys for watching. Probably put a video over here from last week and whatever, then, or yeah, I'll put two different ones so you can watch last week and next week's video, or next, yeah, like, subscribe, of course.